I knew how to shake my ass as a young child before twerking was even a thing.
Ask an Auntie Oracle. Ask an Auntie Oracle. What you wanna know? Ask an Auntie Oracle.
All right, what's up, fam? Welcome to Ask an Auntie Oracle. So, once again, this is Maya Buenafe. I am the visionary co builder, business owner of the Unlearning Community School, and I'm also the co host of Ask an Auntie Oracle.
Hi, everybody. This is Mary Rowe, Auntie Mary. I am what I consider to be the spiritual advisor of the Unlearning Community School and also the co host of Ask An Auntie Oracle.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mar, and I am running tech today. So I'll be behind the scenes, behind the camera. You won't really see me, but you might hear my voice. Are y'all ready? Because these two are about to get into it today.
So, our very first topic for Ask an Auntie Oracle today is addressing and navigating challenges. And this is such a timely topic, I feel like, especially right now where we in a whole ass reckoning, y'all, as two-leggeds that have been acting a fool out here on planet Earth. All of us have been marinated in the fuckery. And so we're having to address all of those issues because it's really hitting home now for a lot of folks. So, Mary, can you let us know, like, so how did we even come up with these questions?
Yes, Mayo. So we came up with these questions in community at one of our in-person Unlearning Community School events in Oakland from about 2 weeks ago. And we did a short kind of sneak peek preview of this program, Ask an Auntie Oracle, and invited the individuals who from our community who attended the event to pose their own questions. A number of questions, I would say a flurry of questions that related to this overarching topic, navigating challenging times. So that is absolutely a crossroads for two leggeds on the planet. It is truly a crossroads for our spiritual evolution. And it is a time for the age of Aquarius, true calling to activate the inner oracle, the inner shaman, the wounded healer within, so that we can galvanize our power collectively and individually. Navigating these challenging times is, quite frankly, going to be very focused on the internal work, which is the most important part of what we're being called to do.
Period.
Period.
So, aunties, how do you navigate life after departing from an institution? Like being in this container that all the resources are easily accessible. How do we now navigate the world without this type of resource?
Whew. Mm. We've got two different perspectives.
Yes, we do.
On this for sure.
Oh man, I have left many an institution, both by choice and also by circumstance, where I got fired or I got kicked out. And for me, one of the through lines of navigating both types of situations has been around the clarity of my intention of being there. Rejection is God's protection. Let's just put it that way. When you are forced to leave somewhere or you are choosing to leave somewhere, that's like a natural evolution of you being more clear on why you were there and why you now need to go. Do you feel like you achieved everything you needed to do there? And if the answer is yes, then the answer is also okay, I'm ready to go take my next chapter somewhere else. And you have to really ask yourself, how much do I want this? And there comes a time where you're just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm done. I did everything that I could. and I'm going to pat myself on the back and I'm going to call that a dub, and I'm going to keep it moving and evolve to the next chapter. And I'm going to take all these lessons and experiences that I learned from this place to make even more clear what I want to do next.
So I'm going to tell you about playing 5D chess while other people are playing checkers in these institutions. And from the perspective of leaving, like co-sign everything that Mayo just said. What I would also say is whenever I have left an institution, I have known most times far in advance to the time when I actually left. And I have been booted out and fired before, and I knew that that was coming down the pipe also. I have literally been very proactive in connecting with the people that I am in community with within the institutions. My first kind of approach when I join any kind of institution, as well as with any other kind of group, is to take my time to observe, to gradually get to know the people around me at every level of the institution. I disregard the hierarchy. Through the connections and the collaborations, I start making my plan to get out, a la Jordan Peele. So I look into resources, I ask people about the people that they know within their networks, and I come up with an exit plan and an exit strategy. I create all kinds of boundaries. If I know that I have served my purpose there or my objective for being in a given institution has really become untenable or impossible, I literally start that exit plan and that exit strategy. I start divesting and I redirect my energy into getting out. So I would say you set yourself up to be able to launch yourself when you leave a given institution and to move on to the next step in your life. So that's all that I would add.
So, aunties, how do you find the energy to carry on as an artist in this capitalist hellscape? And how do you ensure that you are not losing parts of yourself as you try?
I'll kick this one off. How do we not lose our artistic juices and mojo in this capitalistic hellscape? So I will say for myself, and speaking to artists in particular, first of all, for me and my arts, it's really focusing on doing the art at this point almost on a daily basis out of love for doing the arts. And keeping those creative juices flowing is something I do because it actually is a key to surviving this hellscape. It actually is a key to healing, to reclaiming my power. I would also say that I think we are at an unprecedented time where so many creatives who are generating this entire spectrum of art are able to completely divest themselves from any kind of multinational corporation within the matrix. And I want to just remind you all the internet was created by us. The internet was created, the World Wide Web, from taxpayer dollars. It is the people's web. So part of this is reframing and becoming really precise and gaining utmost clarity about who's been propping all of this up from the door, and that is us. So it's time for us to reclaim our collective creation. I'm boycotting all these anti DEI goons. I'm boycotting all of them. I've been doing this for years. And the way I do that is by connecting directly with independent artists and using the people's internet to do it. I feel some
Internet.
internet.
um, I was just thinking about, when we think of capitalistic hellscape, what do we mean by this, right? So if we think of capitalism, it's like who owns the means of production? If you are an artist and your art is your expression of who you are, do you own your expression of who you are? Or are you selling it? And at what price? And are you okay with that? You know what I mean? Like, are you okay with that? Hey, if you're okay with that, you're okay with the agreements of, like, the licensing rights, your image and content being utilized by corporations, companies, different people. Art is this expression of the divine or God. And what I remind other artists that I mentor is, when you were anointed with these gifts to create, whether it be songwriting, visual arts, dance, whatever your art form is, when you were anointed with those gifts from God, from a divine source, it was given to you first for you to use in your life. And so when you think of your art as your gifts, you get to decide what you want to use or who you want to give this gift to. Do you want to just give this gift for yourself? Is it your own medicine to help you? Or is it medicine that, okay, the world needs this right now, or maybe my community needs this for me right now, so I'm going to offer it to them in this way. And since I control the means of producing that art, I get to determine how I share it. And I think that's what artists need to remember: your sovereignty, your right to self determine how you want to share your art, so that you don't allow other people to own your art. That's all I'll say on that.
So, aunties, when moving through rough waters, should one use stillness or movement?
Hmm.
Y'all see that? Y'all see what we just did? Moving with the breath in our stillness. So, a short version, and me and Mary are going to kind of riff on this
Mm-hmm.
question. Like, it's a both and. You need to be still, and you also need to be moving your energy.
Yes.
Because when you're still, you know what energy you need to move. So ha, is in, like, Kanaka Maoli or Native Hawaiian language, is actually the same as in the Tagalog language. And the ha in our language means the sacred breath. And this is literally how you know something is alive and how you connect with it.
We're sharing this because this is not an either or question for us or
Yeah.
answer. It's both and. Now, in addition to the ebbs and flows of the waves, or the inhale and exhale and that sacred pause in between with our breathing, there are many kinds of ways of being still, and there are many kinds of ways of moving the energy. And moving the energy is, it's not our original expression. It's definitely a phrase that we use a lot in terms of our Auntie Oracle speak.
Yes.
And we're basically talking about the energy of our emotions, the energy of just dealing with this really unprecedented kind of crossroads that we're in, where we're being constantly bombarded very intentionally with messages, with images, with lies, with rhetoric that is designed to keep us constantly triggered up and constantly disconnected actually from ourselves. In addition to breathing, I think about movement for myself in terms of navigating these rough waters is very much dancing and singing. And I want to credit Dr. Camila Majid, who wrote the book Joyfully Just. People mistake dancing, like of indigenous peoples especially, as entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been just or even primarily entertainment. It has been sacred. It is how we pray. It is how we move the life force, the energy of life itself within us. The same applies to songs. I knew how to shake my ass as a young child before twerking was even a thing, right? That was my ancestors moving through me. That was something that was never sexualized,
Mm.
and it was never merely for entertainment. You will know what kind of movement and what kind of stillness works for you to navigate these very, very rough waters by being still yourself.
Yeah. I, for one, love like this practice of being able to be still and be with yourself. I know that a lot of young people, especially if you grew up with technology on a screen for most of your life, you feel like that's the reality, like literally having a screen in front of you. But can you, like Kendra said, turn the TV off? Can you put the screen down? Can you be with yourself? And when you're with yourself, do you like who you are? And if you don't, why not? You know, like Malcolm X said, who taught you to hate yourself? So in your stillness, you are being invited to grasp who you are at your roots. And once you recognize where the roots of those things, of what you're navigating, those rough waters that are internal to you, and you confront it and you say, oh, this is coming from my fear of rejection. This is coming from abandonment. This is coming from the harm and violence I've experienced. And I'm going to sit with myself with that. And I can choose a different way to be. So let me move and transmute that energy so that I don't get stuck in the pain and the suffering. And part of moving it is so that you can transmute it into what you actually want to be.
Hey, aunties, I'm being called to be in solitude right now. How do I navigate this loneliness?
What comes to mind is Ella Fitzgerald's In My
Mm.
Solitude. I love being in solitude.
Mm.
I mean, it doesn't feel lonely, and like, no shade to the person who asked this, but it's like, don't conflate solitude and loneliness. Those are two different things, honey.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start with the latter one. Like loneliness, I feel like is more based on this expectation of needing to be around other people in order to feel like whole or complete or even just good
Mm.
about yourself. There's also kind of, I think, something deeper lying under there where you don't actually feel okay being by yourself. Like you don't like being with yourself, and it's okay to admit that.
Mhm.
And that's why there is that suffering with
Mhm.
loneliness.
Mhm.
And I would say that solitude has no suffering in
None.
it.
I mean, I would say that solitude can contain the full range of human emotions, but it's not
Mm,
suffering. In this matrix, I think we ground zero is loneliness for everybody because this whole system is based on disconnection from ourselves and from one another and from the natural world. Solitude looks like whatever you want it to look like.
yeah.
It's about enjoying your own company and
Yes.
enjoying being in your own skin.
I really suggest to those who are navigating this loneliness and solitude is tap back with your inner child. When no one else was looking, what did you do when you were a kid? Did you talk to yourself? Did you sing to yourself? Did you dance? Were you drawing? Like when no one else was looking, what did you like to do?
So, literally, solitude is simply being able to enjoy your own company. And that way, when we are in connection and in community with other people, we also enjoy that and we genuinely enjoy those people versus looking at them to fill
Yeah.
a hole within ourselves. So,
You can be surrounded by people and still feel
yeah.
lonely. You can be in committed
Hmm.
relationships and
Be
still feel
incredibly lonely.
incredibly lonely.
And I would say, as someone on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm a serial monogamous. I've been in a range of different kinds of relationships. And what I found was it didn't matter. It wasn't about the other person. It didn't matter how gorgeous they were, how hot they were. It didn't matter how much money they made. It didn't matter what their status was. It was not able to fill the hole in me. So the
Mm,
number one thing I learned about loneliness is it's something that it is from the inside out. It is a wonderful teacher and it is a friend because loneliness tells us that there is some need that is going unmet that only we can fill.
Yeah.
We cannot feel it from the outside in. Nobody can come in and swoop in, because I was always wanting somebody to come in and save a hoe emotionally. I wanted somebody else to take care of my emotions and to basically take care of me in ways that was impossible for anyone else to do. People talk about an epidemic of loneliness and they keep making it about relationships. I'm like, what is the only relationship you are guaranteed to have for your entire life?
Yours.
The one with yourself.
Yeah.
That's the only lifelong relationship we have had, that we will ever have, period.
One final little dosage I'm going to add in there is loneliness is an emotion, but solitude is a practice.
Woo!
Y'all feel me?
That part.
You can feel lonely, but you need to practice solitude to understand your loneliness. Go practice some solitude.
Hello, it is Mar from behind the scenes, but I just felt really called to answer this question. Maybe you're Gen Z, maybe you're Gen Alpha, you're younger than me. I think I relate because I also grew up in the digital age, and there's this part where you just can't stop being connected or plugged in or just seeing what other people are doing, and it becomes a habit and it becomes almost like an addiction. And it was not until recently, but for the past 5 years, I decided to like get off social media. And when I got off social media, I was really lonely. I was really lonely, but I was in solitude. And this loneliness helped me figure out what I wanted and what I needed and who I was. And so, in this loneliness, in this solitude, I was able to find me. In the same way, I was able to figure out and discern what type of people I'm trying to be around. The most important thing, honestly, the most important thing, solitude gave me my connection to Allah, to the highest power. And so, I really implore you to just take the leap. It's going to suck for like the first couple weeks. You're going to want to go back on social media. You're going to want to go back to talking to your situationship. You're going to want to go back to like texting some friends that aren't really good for you. And that's okay. It's not the end of it. If you do, it's a process. And I think that's what solitude calls for, like that's a process of solitude. That's it. You got this.
I don't know how to.
I got you.
Hey, so that was the end of our second official episode. If you want to watch the full version, head over to our Patreon at Ask An Auntie Oracle, where you will get the full uncensored cuts. You'll also get our after hours Ask An Auntie Oracle that goes deeper into sacred sexuality. There are some hot takes and filthy reads in there, and it's only $5 a month, and $5 make you holla. So if you want to stay connected with the Unlearning Community School, you can type literally a message. You can upload a short video or a voice memo into your email, or you can go to our website, contact us. You can also type your questions there.
And also, if you do join Patreon, in addition to getting the full uncut version of Ask an Auntie Oracle, you will also be able to enter questions and comments in the comment section under Ask an Auntie Oracle regular sessions, as well as gaining access to the Ask an Auntie Oracle after hours, dirty reads, downloads, and sacred sexuality.
Basically, if you really want to engage in the Ask an Auntie Oracle community and space, go over to our Patreon account and you will get all of this beautiful content. For those of you accessing this free on YouTube, you won't be able to comment. Just saying, this is just like a little tease for you to entice you to come over to our Patreon, where you can comment and engage with us and engage with the community. So I hope y'all enjoyed our second episode, and we'll see you next time.
Hasta próxima vez. Ciao.
Ask an Auntie Oracle. Ask an Auntie Oracle. What you wanna know? Ask an Auntie Oracle.
So, aunties, how do you find the energy to carry on as an artist in a capitalist hellscape? And how do you ensure that you are not losing parts of yourself? Oh, what does that say? No!